You know, everything about the Baja 1000 is unique. The length of it, the fact that it's a point-to-point race, the endurance of it.
It's brutal from start to finish. It's a war.
Biggest thing in the preparation for a race like the Baja 1000, for me, is to say it's never going to end. You're never going to get out of the rough. You're never going to get a break, and you just have to resign yourself mentally to the fact that you're in it for the long haul. It's not a sprint race. You just have to take the pain, the frustration, and realize that it's never going to be over.
At the beginning of the Baja 1000, Sal Fish comes up. Sal is this mythical legend of Baja. He's been down there for 40-some years. He's owned it for about 37, 38 years.
Great race, you guys, okay? We'll see you in the past. Keep walking.
So Sal Fish comes up to every person who comes off the starting line, shakes their hand, wishes them good luck, tells us to be safe. And that's kind of the moment where everything becomes real. You're on this dirt mountain, you come down, he shakes your hand, and then the green flag drops. This year was a little different because I wanted to be calm. The roads were wet. There are thousands of people lining the course. It's very muddy. I personally didn't want to slide off the course and kill anybody, so I just tried to keep everything mellow. Then you go underneath the bridge, and then you hit the jump at the end. You hit this cool Red Bull jump that goes into it. But it's not a place where you want to wreck.
Definitely the most difficult aspect of the 1000 is just the flat-out endurance. Being able to reel it back in and control yourself, and knowing when to go fast, knowing when to go slow. It's finding that balance of longevity in the vehicle. You know, when you cross the finish line, you want the car to fall apart and be done. If it doesn't, you went too slow. If it breaks 100 yards before the finish line, you went too fast. So I think that the hardest part about the 1000 is finding the balance of endurance versus speed.
Brad and Bud started off the race. They were really doing well. You know, there was a whole lot of beating around going with the other teams, and they played it really smart.
We had all four monster teams just banging on our rear bumpers, screaming us on the radio. We just kept on pulling over and letting them by because, you know, they're in some 100-mile race that doesn't even mean anything to us. I'm not in a 100-mile race. I was in an 1,100-mile race.
Guys were passing us. They'd pass, get stuck. They'd pass, break. And we just chugged right along. It started getting dark, and we were in second place at the time. Now, we heard the lead car. They're talking to the chase crew, and we just kind of stayed quiet because we could tell where they were, and we knew that we were reeling them in. We came up on these guys and shut off part of our lights and then started flashing the lights and everything and ran up on them hard so they'd think we're a trophy truck, big fast truck. And what do you know? Whoop, they pulled right over and we shot by. It was the coolest part of the race.
We have this saying, we're on the road, just keep the car underneath you. Keep the car underneath you means just keep it under control, know the brakes, know the suspension. We actually feel every part of the car. You get a flat, you feel it in your butt. You get anything, you kind of feel it everywhere. So you know every part of the car. We're at race mile 6:15. The guys are coming in. We're going to do a driver change.
The BFG pit support down there is second to none. They set up a whole network, be it down the peninsula or when it's a loop race, and they have all the logistics figured out. They have food for you, they have tires, they have parts, whatever you need. And you'll pull in, you'll see guys come in and they'll work for hours getting the car welded up, finding whatever they can do to scavenge together. I've seen trucks welded back together with wrenches, with jack handles, with tie downs, whatever they can do to get you to the finish.
I got in the car down at Bay of LA at about 10 o'clock at night, ran through the night, battled some just incredible silt beds, but it was all the pre-running paid off because we didn't get stuck in any silt. We didn't have any problems.
Yep, it's going pretty much as planned at this point.
You guys are almost 100 miles ahead of the last BC car.
Down there by the K60 where we're going to wait to hear him come across.
Just taking a picture of me peeing.
Absolutely.
I can't tell that I'm peeing.
Shake it off, baby.
BFGoodrich is an iconic brand, and it's all built around the Baja. And the people down there, they know it. There's monuments to BFG in Ensenada for everybody to see year-round. So to go down there and represent this brand, it's intimidating. It really is. It's kind of an all-star team. And I've done races that are sprint races, and you have to really jack yourself up on the start line. Well, you don't have to do that in Baja, but the most pressure I feel all year is being down there, representing the brand, being with this all-star team, and not wanting to let anybody down.
We did
really smart. All we did, those assholes are all killing each other. They're smart. Keep this pace down. Yep. Pick it up. Keep this pace down. Taking care of your vehicle is the most important thing in endurance racing. You're racing two elements. You're racing yourself and your adrenaline, and you're racing the desert. You take care of the car is going to take you through the end. I mean, this is a race where sometimes you're 400 or 500 miles away from anybody, and if you break something, you got to get out of the car and fix it. So taking care of the car is the most important thing.
At this point, it's all a blur of black and green cars.
Wide Open gives anybody the ability to go down and experience the Baja 1000. You can rent a race car, or you can just go down there and get a tour and see what all these roads are about. And really, the tours, the pre-run, gives you the best chance to see what Baja's about. Kyle and I were hauling down through there. Everything was going great. We had about a 2-hour lead, and all of a sudden, just no power.
The desert is the only thing you need to compete against out here.
They are stopped, and they are stopped at race mile 969. They broke a CV.
We got out, we looked, hey, it's a CV shaft. So we had a spare CV shaft, so Kyle's under there, I'm bolting the broken one, and I'm getting the new one out. Then we realized that it's half of the new shaft is missing.
We were 2.5 hours ahead of the second place car, and in the chase van, we're just so happy about what's going on, and then over the radio we hear that the car is stopped. So Bud's calling back to the United States to get updates from what's going on online, and we got this huge network of technology out in the middle of nowhere to try and figure out what's happening just a mile away from where we're parked.
Yeah, Jeff, Dennis still has him stopped at 969. Okay, keep an eye on him. Let me know what happened. If anything changes in either one of the statuses. Thank you.
So here we are, two car guys, and we've never done a CV shaft between us. So we got the balls rolling around in the sand. We got CV grease up to our elbows.
So Brad and Kyle had to put together a CV shaft out in the middle of the desert, which neither one of them had ever done before. And they put together pieces that probably shouldn't work together, but they did.
It had a replacement. They made it work. They took an end off another one and put it on the old one.
You mean on the axle itself?
Yeah.
Then that's a fix.
Yeah, no, it is. We are in the heading towards the southern tip of Baja, Mexico right now. Trying to get Mikey over here to pit 8 to do the last leg of the race. Breaking down at race mile 969 was not in the plans. We were 2.5 hours ahead. By the time we got Mike Crawford back into the car, we were maybe an hour ahead. Our instructions with Mike were just, get us to the end. Don't break the car, don't roll the car, no driver error, just get us to the end. We were hoping that we had a long enough lead, we keep a decent steady pace up, the people behind us wouldn't catch us.
I had my leg on the back of the frame and pulling on it and broke. I needed to give up that kind of lead.
We have a comfortable lead. We're about 20 miles out of the finish line. Things are looking really, really good.
It's a dream come true. It's a dream I had when I was a kid to race the Baja 1000, and then to go down on a peninsula run and come off as a class winner. You can't really put it into words.
To be on the winning team for the 1000 is a lifelong goal. It's something I never thought I would be able to achieve, honestly. To do it with my brother, to do it with such an iconic brand like BFG is really an amazing experience.
Right at the moment where Brad and Michael were on top of the car spraying champagne on the crowd and the photographers, the rest of the race team, almost in slow motion, come up and running and join them on top of the car. So it was just, we got to be there at the finish line, champagne everywhere. It was just, we knew something special was happening, and we all had to make sure we got there. Winning anything is cool, but winning a race that's an endurance race that has that heritage and a legacy, especially for such an iconic brand like BFG, was very, very cool. Yeah! I mean, I'm proud to be a part of the winning team, proud to be a part of the BFG team, so it was definitely cool.